tuned in to the one and only show, bringing you entertainment stories shaken, stirred, with a little sass and a twist of lime. It's Northwest Nightcap with K-Cee Deeva, y'all. Don't miss it.
What up, peeps? Guess what? We're back. It's that time of the month again. The first week of April 4th, 2024. Welcome. I'm K-Cee Deeva. If this is your first time joining us, welcome back. If you have joined us in the past, always a good time. Lots to talk about tonight. Lots and lots to talk about. Lots to talk about. Before we get started, follow me on IG at MZ K-Cee Deeva, how you see spelled there. On Facebook, K-Cee Deeva, Northwest Nightcap with K-Cee Deeva, or Dish with Deeva Show on Facebook as well. So, man, there's a whole lot of news going on with a lot of famous people. We're going to break it down for you and give you our take on everything. And we'd love to hear from you as well. So if you have some comments, go ahead and drop them in the chat. And yeah, we'll talk about it. All right, before we do, let me introduce my fabulous, beautiful crew. Look at these beautiful people, these beautiful brown folks on the screen. Ladies first, of course, the effervescent, the beautiful, the lovely Miss Princess Robin. Princess Robin is the host of Traveler's Guide to Venus and Mars. You can find on any platform. And Kurt, you ready?
Yeah.
I need some fanfare here. And newly on Princess
DFWIRadio.com.
Hey.
7 Central.
Thursdays, right? I think we were clapping when you said it.
Thursdays, 7 Central.
7 Central. So that would be 5 p.m. if you're on the West Coast, and it would be 8 p.m. if you're on the East Coast.
That's right.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. We're very happy to be a part of the DFWI radio family.
Yes, good job, bro, and catching that cue there with the music. Speaking of my bro there, the very talented Kurt K.C. Clayton, musical director for the legendary group Confunction, and also esteemed hubby of Miss Princess Robin.
What's up?
Hey.
What up?
Okay. And last but certainly not least, one of my BFFs, the very handsome Mr. Anthony Adams, joining us. Anthony, always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Always good to see you too.
What are you holding?
Well, see, it's
is that a WWF belt?
It is indeed, because it is WrestleMania weekend, and you know this is the weekend where I go MIA unless you follow media where I tweet about the whole event. And my boy The Rock is coming back, and he'll be fighting this weekend. So,
but The Rock is a bad guy now, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's a bad.
He's not the people's champ anymore.
There's a theory that he actually might turn, and he might turn good guy again.
Oh, because they do that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's teaming with his cousin, so yeah.
And his cousin is it Roman Reigns?
Roman Reigns, yeah.
Roman Reigns,
yeah.
Roman fine. Okay. All right. You know, that's how I ended up watching wrestling. Was my brother, who's always been a fan, calls me one day. Is like, hey, check out wrestling. Nah, not interested. I think you should check it out. I'm like, what the? Whatever. I turn and I see The Rock. My little bro knows me. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump on in because we've got a lot of topics to cover. Okay, I'm just gonna be full transparency. I'm not real thrilled about this first topic, but we'll be remiss if we didn't talk about it because it's all over the news and the blogs and the so on. So yeah, we're gonna talk about it in a little bit of detail, not too much because it's a lot. It is a lot to sort through. If you want all the gritty details, you'll have to look it up yourself. But if you've been under a rock the last few months and had not heard about Sean Diddy Combs, okay, so let's see. It was Puff Daddy, Diddy,
P. Diddy.
P. Diddy, yeah, P. Diddy. And now it's Love, right? Is that the current name he goes by?
Brother
Okay.
Love.
Well, court documents state him as Sean Diddy Combs. Bomb dropped back in, let's see, it was November of 2023. And Cassie, who is a R&B singer, she's had a couple songs. I remember "We're a Long Way to Go." That's like the only song I know, but I know she's had a couple kind of one-hit wonders, right, Anthony? You're like the song.
Yeah, the only song I knew by her was "It's Me and You." No.
Right, that's the more famous one, right?
That was her main
Kurt. Yeah, and then she had another one, "A Long Way to Go," and that I heard like in, it's kind of a club jam, a couple others. Anyway, she dropped a lawsuit alleging that Sean Diddy Combs, who she had a 11-year relationship with, that alleging she was trafficked, she was raped, she was beaten by Combs on several occasions over the 11 years that they were together. Heavy allegations. I mean, that's some serious allegations to drop on somebody. That happened in November in 2023. And then it's like the domino effect started to happen. There's a producer, Rodney Little Rod Jones, who worked with Diddy. He's got a whole lot of allegations. Along the same lines, allegedly, he says that he was harassed, that he alleges that Diddy was, in his mind, grooming him to hand him off to his celebrity buddies and friends. He alleges that there was drug trafficking, firearms. I mean, just a whole list of stuff. And he claims this went on for more than a year. He also named, he named a bunch of celebrities. Now, according to Newsweek, the full list of celebrities, I'm just going to run through them really quick, that are named. Now, this doesn't mean just because they're named that they were alleged to have done anything, but trying to set the precedent that all these parties that he had these famous people there. In one part of the lawsuit, he alleges that, people like Prince Harry was there. And that's kind of it was like a clout thing for the record executives, which is why they looked the other way, again, allegedly. Hoppy, what's up? Oh, my homie from Langston. Good to see you. My college. All right, so here's a list of celebrities that are named in this lawsuit. Stevie J, does everyone know who Stevie J was? He was in Love and Hip Hop, I think it was.
Yeah.
Hot mess. Let's see. Grammy Award. Let's see, who's this? Oh, okay. Name of the redacted. Young Miami. Bishop T.D. Jakes, Cassie, of course, Georgia Mass Choir, the Clark Sisters, Smokey Norval. All these people were named, but not, were named to have done anything or even alleged anything against them. But we're at these parties that Diddy had, which, for me is not a huge surprise. I mean, the man is a multi-billionaire. He's famous. He's going to have a long list of people at these parties. So that was the initial lawsuit that came out by this Little Rod Jones. It goes into a lot of graphic detail about things he said were done. I'm not going to read all that. If you want that level of detail, you can read it on your own. And then the next day, he did an addendum to the lawsuit, and he added Cuba Gooding Jr. as a co-defendant. Now, this one's rough because, I love me some Cuba Gooding Jr.
As soon as I saw that name, as soon as I saw his name, I went, "Ooh,
you already knew that was gonna hit, like here, right?"
As soon as I saw his name.
Yeah. So, Mr. Jones alleges that Cuba was on a yacht that Diddy had chartered, and that Cuba was groping him and touching him and all these unwanted sexual advances. And until, as it says here, Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away. Yeah. This is crazy. It's crazy. Okay, so let's kind of fast forward here. That's just some of the quick and dirty details. Most recent news was the feds actually went and raided 3 of his houses in between Miami and Los Angeles. Diddy has been spotted in Miami. In fact, there's a picture that surfaced of him on a bike somewhere in Miami. And the interesting thing about this is Homeland Security. Now, if you saw the pictures, right, you saw the army tanks, the fatigues. I mean, it was a whole, I hadn't personally seen that in any other raid, like Neverland, some of these other raids that had, was it T.I., I think his house got raided at one point in time years ago. I have never seen this level of folks showing up from the feds and Homeland Security. However, as I read, Homeland Security, they handle alleged human trafficking cases, right? So that's why they raised in and so forth. So I want to talk about his sons and kind of what happened there, but I'm gonna pause for a minute. Like I said, it's a lot. And I just want to get you all's kind of initial reactions when you heard this news. So I'm going to start with you, Anthony. When you heard, so let's go back to the, K-Cee's initial lawsuit and such. I remember hearing some folks were like, yep, I knew it all along. And these are the blogs and the social media posts and such. I knew it all along. Something wasn't right with him, blah, blah, blah. But she had a lot of people saying that, oh, it's a money grab. It's a cash grab. She's bitter. She's not with them and so on and so forth. Well, then lo and behold, now all this other stuff is coming out, What was your initial thoughts when you heard the case from K-Cee?
Well, when I heard the case with K-Cee, I'll say this. I don't think it had to do with her, anything about her being bitter that she's not with him. She's the one that broke it off with him. And she's done got married and had a child and everything. I think he was more in love with her than she was with him. I actually just found out today they were together from the time she was 19 and he was 37 at that time when they first got together.
Yeah, she was only 19. Yep.
Yeah, so that's all she's ever known. So she's living her life. I think when I heard that initial reaction, I was just like, okay, I've heard stories about him. Even the late Kim Porter and even J-Lo have come out and said, he has to have control in a relationship. And if he doesn't have that control, he doesn't want it, So I think when I heard what she was accusing him of, I'm like, so basically she just reconfirmed what these ladies already said, So,
yeah, and there was another ex that came out. She did a whole interview I watched the other day with the podcaster Tasha K.
Yeah,
and she alleged a bunch of stuff, ongoing abuse and such. And she was really young, when I think she was 22. She said when she got with Diddy. So, Princess, thoughts? What were your initial thoughts and reactions?
My initial thought and reaction was, wow, I can't believe this is going down. But I wasn't surprised just because there's been such a reputation about, all this top secret wild party, can't talk about it, it just sounds like there's been a pattern of behavior. It's just now things seem to be coming to light for the common person. Allegations and investigations. But it's not like we haven't been hearing whispers for years.
Yeah. I always say where there's smoke, there's fire, right? There's something, it's not smoldering and black smoke coming up for nothing. It's just a matter of time before those flames happen. Bro, what's your take on it? As someone who has been in the business for a long time, what was your initial thoughts?
The initial thought was, like you said, K-Cee was not the first one to report it. activities. It's just that she was the one to officially follow through with the whole situation. So where it went to court and they settled. Up until then, multiple people had always said, hey, this is what's going on, and you watch out, and all these situations. In fact, one person that screamed it for years, but they kind of blew her off as being bitter, and then was Jaguar Wright.
I want to know how this woman gets all the scoop she does.
Yeah, because see, here's the thing. Jaguar was a part of that clique at one point, and so a lot of people, because now because she's officially like left the industry alone, because she's like, the industry is just dirty and all this kind of stuff. So her thing is, she has, so she's like, I don't have any loyalty to anyone because they never had loyalty to me. So she's been spilling the tea about a lot of stuff for years. But people kind of blew her off as, oh, she's just bitter because she lost her deal and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no, that's not the case. I'm trying to warn everybody of the pedophiles and all the situations that's going on. But for me, I think another interesting piece of it is, like you said, they had Homeland Security and all these situations that makes sense. But you didn't see a lot of this same reaction and the same actions like Jeff Epstein or Harvey Weinstein and all these type of situations. It seems like anytime it's a I mean, first of all of it's wrong. Let me just say, but it's just the fact that it seems like it's heightened even more when it's a celebrity of color. Right? Because Harvey Weinstein, who is one of the most powerful people in the industry, it's like his situation came and went. They quickly shut it down. Okay,
it's like all of a sudden you're like,
okay, you're guilty. You're gonna do this, but a lot of what Diddy was doing, I think his is becoming more and more newsworthy, mainly because of a lot of the, once again, a lot of the other people that are affiliated, TD Jakes and Cuba Gooding Juniors, and a lot of people that are quote unquote in our community heroes. And so it's even a bigger heighten of wow, if he could do this, who else can be a part of this situation? And but those rumors, like Princess said before, those rumors have always been out there for years. And even then, people have tried to confirm them, but because people have to understand how powerful and how connected Diddy is. Just like Harvey Weinstein and the people of a certain level.
Right. People are probably afraid, I would think, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They were afraid, or they were silenced, or they were blocked, or whatever. They had to sign NDAs or whatever,
Right.
And they was given, and even with K-Cee, kudos to her because she finally found the strength.
Yeah.
Because like you said, she was dealing with that since she was 19 years old.
Yeah. She was just a baby. Shout out to my homeboy Chris B. He said when we were talking about Diddy being spotted in Miami, he said, I just saw him on a scooter in Seward Park last week. He might be in Canada by now. Whatever, Chris.
Well, what's
so the thing is, I want to touch on. Wait, Anthony, were you saying something?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of traveling and everything, I don't know if you've seen, his airport, the airplanes and stuff also got raided because people were trying to say he was leaving the country, and everyone was like, well, no, he's in Miami, but they technically have not restricted, because I've been following a lot of crime stuff on this. They not restricted his travel. I mean, he's not under any arrest, so he could potentially leave the country. But the question is, what country? But the question is, what country would want to approve his visa to come and visit?
But speaking of the planes, they did arrest an alleged drug mule of his.
But keep in mind, they arrested the drug mules, but they have yet to file official charges on him.
Right. Yeah,
So
and that's what his lawyer keeps saying, and all the press, his lawyer keeps saying, no arrests have been made, no charges have been, filed. So I want to go back to the raid again, to kind of follow up on what Bro was saying about, the black celebrity thing, right? So if you saw the pictures, you saw that Diddy's two of Diddy's sons, Justin and King, aka Christian, they were in handcuffs in these photos. Their mom, Misa Hilton, is the one that put the footage up, and she's outraged. She's actually hired a high-profile attorney, Jeffrey Lichtman, to look into excessive use of force charges. Again, like I said, the army tanks and all. I mean, I'm watching that going, what the, like you said, bro, we didn't see this kind of, level of attention for the non,
when Jeffrey Epstein and his whole team guilty of all this. I mean, madams and all this.
Yep.
You didn't see these raids on their home, and they were known for trafficking.
Yeah.
You didn't see these raids on their homes or their businesses. CNN and all this kind of stuff. It was reported.
Yeah.
But they didn't have like the helicopters and, like I said, the SWAT teams and Homeland Security and all those situations.
Yeah, and I guess they say it's protocol, with that situation, that whoever's there, for their protection, they, handcuff them or whatever. But the mom, of course, she's like, the gun was pointed at my son. All that was so unnecessary.
That's not protocol if they're cooperating.
Say again.
It's not protocol if they're cooperating.
If they're right. So, and it looked like they were cooperating to me. So, okay. Robin, do you agree with that whole that the color, the difference, with the black celebrities versus, say, other celebrities of color, the treatment or the excessive force allegations the mom's making?
I don't know, because I didn't see a lot of footage. I did see that they were cuffed. I didn't see that they were being manhandled or anything like that. So that to me is the excessive force issue. So I didn't see any of that, so I can't speak to it. And I don't necessarily think we're looking at apples to apples here again.
Yeah.
Like I sound like the broken record here. I think it's.
No, I get it.
I think it's a different. I think it's different.
No. What I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, if they raid their house and they have a warrant,
yes.
Normal protocol is, okay, if they come in and they have a warrant, we have a warrant to search your house. They don't put you in handcuffs. They serve the warrant and they tell you to step aside. Now, at that point, you step aside and you let them do their job. Now, obviously, nobody's resisting. Nobody, because even Diddy was outside the house. Right? So nobody's was resisting arrest. Or
right.
They were letting them, serve the warrant. So it's not for this. First of all, you got first of all, I get it. It was two young men, but you got a whole Homeland.
They had hundreds of people. Right. Right.
You got Homeland. You got FBI.
Right.
You got all these different letters up in there that are armed. Right.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm saying is once that warrant is served and said we have a warrant to search these premises, please step aside. That doesn't mean we have a warrant to search these premises and we're going to put you on arrest. There's two different things.
Yeah. Well, it'd be interesting to see.
They didn't.
Go ahead.
They weren't arrested though.
But they were detained.
No, they weren't
detained, but they weren't arrested.
But you don't normally detain someone if they have a warrant to search your home, and you allow them to search their home. They don't detain you in cuffs.
Well, they did find firearms and they seize firearms, they seize other electronic devices, phones, computers, whatever.
Yep.
So I don't know. I didn't see that listed, but I wonder if that's why they detained him, because they knew, they alleged there
According
was.
to legal analysts, it is because of the firearms.
Okay.
Because
That would make sense.
we watch a lot of crime shows. This was not a case where we have a runner. You know what I mean? It's like
right.
I don't know.
And all I'm saying is, if that was the case, then they would have had Diddy in handcuffs as well, because he's on now. Although they had firearms, the firearms are registered firearms. So it wasn't like they were hiding the firearms. First of all, he's a mogul. He has armed security.
Yeah.
So of course.
Well, that's probably the other reason, though, right? Because if he's got armed guards, they're probably going in like, okay, we don't know what these guards are gonna do.
But once they served the warrant, once again, you didn't see any armed guards or anyone else in handcuffs.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The one report I saw, and I really am not trying to justify it, but I am trying to say I don't think we have all the information, because the piece I saw about the Sons was that there are actually some allegations against them, the two of them specifically. Yeah. And so I don't know the circumstances, or, like I don't pay that close of attention.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, this is definitely one of those cases where the media got their photo up. It's like, hey, we got your visual for you.
For sure.
Run it and run it and run it. I remember on the day that it happened, I was at the gym. Fox News just stayed on it like there was nothing else happening in the world.
I'm not surprised.
It was on rotation on some of the other channels, but that one was like, so, but I saw the same image just like over and over and over again. I mean, and it was the same image. It's not like it was a day long of,
Let me just throw out another scenario. Just throwing it out there. I get, they were under, like you said, they were being looked at under some other,
other charges.
But it has nothing to do with this case, right? Meanwhile, you have someone.
I don't know that it didn't have anything to do with this case.
It's a totally separate case. It's a totally separate case. So, but meanwhile, you have someone that has 91 indictments. 91 indictments, has been found guilty of sexual assault, has been found guilty of fraud, and has yet to be put in any kind of handcuffs.
Okay, now we're really jumping out
into
another.
I think he's trying to make the comparison with being a black artist.
What I'm saying,
but that's a whole different.
What I'm saying.
I mean, he's a crook, but it's not a good job with this conversation.
No, here's the thing. Okay, so when they raided Mar-a-Lago because he had documents, FBI and all this, right? They had a warrant to search. Now we know that he has Secret Service and he has armed security.
Right.
They came in and said, we have a warrant to search these premises to find these documents, right? None of them were ever put in handcuffs. They know those firearms, they know all these things. And on top of this was government secrets that this guy was hiding. And they had a warrant. And they came in and they searched and they said, could you please just step aside, let us do our job. All I'm saying is, sometimes it's not always just cut and dry. Sometimes it's the exact same situation, but the treatments are different to a certain level, and we have to start. And once again, right is right and wrong is wrong. I am not saying that he is right in any way. All I'm saying is, if you're going to do it for, however you treat those situations, Homeland Security or whatever. Because guess what? Homeland Security went to Mar-a-Lago because it's a Homeland Security issue. Right?
Yeah.
But none of those actions was taken in that situation simply because of the respect level that they have, and I'm just, I'm just letting you know, look at all the scenarios across the board. If you're a criminal, if you're being found, if they think that if they suspect you of something, if they're saying we got to raid this house, we got a warrant, and we suspect this, and this is how we normally serve everything, then do that across the board. Don't handcuff one and then take the other one out for a burger.
Yeah. All right.
True.
Well, I'm tired of talking about Diddy. Let's move on to another topic.
Take that.
It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Thank you, Deeva.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. A lot of people are comparing it to R. Kelly case. I think this is way bigger than even R. Kelly's case. Honestly, there's so many different layers and levels. I mean, we could spend 2 hours trying to cover every little thing. All right, we're gonna move on, and we'll keep you posted. I'm sure by next month there'll be some updates, and we'll see what's going on. Anthony,
Yes.
let's talk something a little bit later. Let's talk about the Jacksons. What's going on with Catherine and Blanket or Biggie?
Biggie, as he's going by now.
Blanket is Michael's youngest son.
Yeah.
But he goes by Biggie now. Is it Biggie?
Biggie.
How do you say it?
Biggie. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I call him Biggie.
Biggie, yeah. No, so what's going on is recently he filed a suit against his grandmother, and I think he's trying to file it against the estate because she is in charge of the estate. Because so there was 2 reports I had heard. The first report is he felt that the estate should no longer pay for his grandmother's medical care for like surgeries that she's needed to have. But it turns out it's actually because there was a case that the Jackson estate had lost, and the records to that are sealed. And he thinks that the grandma's going to try to reappeal that case. And of course, she's got to dip into the estate funds to refile everything to pay for the legal fees. And he's like, no, don't do that anymore. We lost the case. Let's just take our losses and just go. And I think it has to do with the fact that it's over, of course, Michael's music. I don't know if you heard, but last month they sold over half the catalog for $60 million.
Yes.
So yeah, and this is honestly something that a lot of artists have been doing lately, is selling off portions of their catalog to one, make money back on it, but also so it gets managed and used the right way. But he's saying, no, I don't want this to happen. We've already been through enough legal wranglings. And if you think about it, the Jackson family, they've had a lot of wranglings over Michael's estate, and going back a few years.
Well, it says that her attorney fees are like $500,000. And Biggie is like, yeah, that's, I didn't see the thing about medical bills because that would be, but, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who's right, who's wrong in this.
I think what it is he just wants to, I think what it is this. I think about something that Afeni Shakur once said.
Mm-hmm.
She said, I will spend all of my son's money to protect my son's money. Meaning, if you're trying to come after, I will do that. I think it's the same thing with Catherine. I will spend Michael's money to protect Michael's money. And Biggie or BG is like, no, stop doing that, because before you know it, you're going to get so caught up in this to where we're not going to have anything. We may not have anything left.
I did see an article where they said that, it seems like he's actually trying to protect, not necessarily go up against his grandmother. But Catherine's 93 years old.
Yeah.
And so maybe he's wondering if, she's still making good decisions, I don't know. But you're right. Ever since Michael died, it's just been one thing after another.
How many of his siblings have tried to contest his will?
I know. Yeah.
Randy.
Yeah. The broke ones, though. Randy.
Jermaine.
It's the broke one. It's not Janet. It's Randy, Latoya. I don't know about Latoya, but, I know Randy for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you remember a few years ago, they tried to say the grandmother had been like kidnapped or something like that. And
Yeah, that was weird.
Come to find out she was in London visiting
resort.
Janet because Janet had just had her baby.
Yeah.
Well, I thought she was in some resort in Arizona.
So there's been two times it's happened.
She went to a spa.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a spa or something, and they didn't know where she was. And
yeah.
Well, if people don't know, they're gonna make it up. So
no.
Okay, other lawsuit news. So this one was. Oh wait, I pulled up the wrong one. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this one's kind of sad to me. So Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo says they're locked in a legal dispute over the Neptune's name rights. So these guys go way back. They're friends. They started the production company together, the Neptunes, and then we saw Pharrell kind of go off and do a solo thing. And it says here that Hugo is accusing Williams of fraudulently seeking sole control over trademarks. Let's see here. And so it says legal action filed last week. Hugo's attorneys accused Pharrell and his company of attempting to register trademarks for the Neptune's name, a move that says that violates their longstanding agreement. They had always said we split everything equally. So, bro, help us out here. Like, how does this all work? I mean, they started business together.
Yeah.
They have this, they've been splitting things all this time, whatever. Yeah. It just seems like messy. Like, did Pharrell all of a sudden say, "Oh, I want the name and everything to myself"?
Yeah.
How do these things work?
Part of it is it's greed, because, like I said, keep in mind, even with Chad has been a silent partner this whole time. People don't realize Pharrell is the face of the company.
Right.
Pharrell's the main one but all those songs are produced by Pharrell and Chad. It's just that Chad is like, I'm just gonna stay in the studio and just work. Right. And but Pharrell is the one that's visible, that everyone knows and everybody sees. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And so sometimes what happens, just like even with this situation, okay, you have an agreement. You've had an agreement in place for at least 20 years, right? You've got a production agreement. You've got, everyone has their individual companies. Everybody's got their publishing situations, but at the same time, you are co-partners in this company. And just like a lot of groups, where one person decides, well, wait, they want to get more, and the only way they can get more is they got to be in control of the situation. You've had a number of bands and groups, and one member would go rogue and try to trademark the name so that way they can have more control of the situation, and everything has to go through them, because now they don't want to have to feel like they got to always, get your signature on the check along with mine to do certain things and all that kind of. So it's a situation where Chad is saying, listen, I'm just trying to protect my interest of something that I helped build.
Right.
Right. Yes. People know you more so because that's what you wanted. You wanted that. Even when the Neptunes was active, Chad was always there, but he was more in the, in the background, which is, that's just who he is, and Pharrell has always been the face. And a lot of times public opinion, always sides with the person that's more visible, not understanding, what the other person has contributed and all this kind of, situation. So it's one of those situations that, Chad is saying, hey, we've had an agreement. So, so while all of a sudden now you're trying to change something that I helped build.
Yeah.
But now you're trying to be in control of it to where you can just basically eventually just totally, kick me all the way out of something, and this reminds me a lot, if you recall, this reminds me a lot of Jay-Z and Damon Dash.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, I don't pay too much attention to Jay-Z. I don't know.
But Jay-Z and Dame Dash, they started Rockefeller. Right? They started that label. They started that.
Oh, okay.
Right? Dame Dash was actually the the mind and the money behind the whole situation. And he brought in Jay-Z because he saw something in Jay.
Oh.
And they started building this brand together, right? To a point where they got ready. I'm trying to remember who they was trying to. I think it was Def Jam. Def Jam wanted to buy the label, right? And Dame was like, "No, why are we gonna sign with you all when we're doing this? And so, but then they had an agreement, and Jay went behind Dame and struck a deal, right? And then all of a sudden, little by little, he just basically, X kind of like moved Dame out of the way, right? The person that brought you in and nurtured you and taught you the business, and took you out the streets. Now all of a sudden, you X them out. So at the end of the day, it's just ruthless business. Like I said, this is the music business, not the music friendship.
Yeah. It's too bad, though. It's too bad. I've seen this, it's time and time again, whether it's music or some other business, or, you see they start off, and then, if it's a group, like there's always one, or if it's a duo,
Look at Macintosh and Apple and Steve Jobs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People, they get greedy and want to do, well, that's too bad. All right. I like them. What?
Well, no, I was going to say that same thing also happened with Guns N' Roses. That Axl Rose got the name Guns N' Roses because he forced. So in the 90s, when they were on their, like, what ended up being their last tour, Axl wanted full control over the name. And he made Slash, Duff, and Izzy Stradlin sign over the rights to the name, or he said, or we're going to be done here. So just in case when that version of the band broke up, he could keep touring, which is essentially what he did up until their big reunion. He kept touring with a backup band that he would call Guns N' Roses.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. Learned so much about that kind of stuff in here. Okay. So, Lizzo, a few days ago, she did a post that shocked everybody, and she put "I quit" in quotes in all caps. She says, quote, "I'm getting tired of putting up with being dragged by everyone in my life and on the internet. All I want is to make music and make people happy and help the world be a little better than how I found it. But I'm starting to feel like the world doesn't want me in it." So, of course, there's all kind of ways you can read that post, right? People were concerned, like, what's going on here? Is she really quitting? Then, of course, a few days later, she came back and said, "Oh, actually, what I meant was I quit giving any negative energy attention." She did another post on Instagram. "What I'm not going to do is quit the joy of my life, which is making music and connecting with people." So, Princess, now, in your opinion, okay, so we heard initially comes out with the initial quote I said. It's kind of like the shock value, like, wait, what? Okay, and then a couple days later, she kind of cleans it up and says, "Oh no, that's not what I meant. I'm still going to do music. I just mean I'm not going to give negative, stuff attention." When I saw that, I thought, was this a PR stunt? It's like she wanted to kind of reel us in, and then, change it at the end. Did she really mean, I was going to quit? Because now this isn't the first time we've seen rants by her, right? Where she's either crying or she's talking, people are so mean and da-da-da. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? PR stunt?
I don't think so. I think I'm Team Lizzo on this. I think I relate to her a little bit in that, I have a love-hate relationship with social media.
Right.
I hate social media. And yet, when we do things that we have to promote or be in the public eye, it is the necessary evil, which then opens you up to all the things that you hate about social media. People come out of the woodwork and they are not kind. There's a lot of body shaming that happens. They're not kind to, large women of color.
Yeah.
And so it's like a catch-22. She has to make to put her product out there. She has to be on display for everybody to then criticize, which is hurtful. Many a times I was like, and I do it every day. I'm like, well, I don't think I can delete my social media, but I'm not going to engage. But I think what you hear is a hurt person. And I don't blame her. I mean, she gets it all kind of ways. You know what I mean?
She does. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I'm a Lizzo fan as well, but that first post, and then the follow up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about that.
It reminds me of in my less mature days when I was like, if I have a gripe about something, I'm gonna just put it out there and say something.
Oh yeah.
That's what she did.
Without thinking.
It was an emotional response. I don't know that it was a I think she said what she was feeling in that moment, and of course she is not going to quit the business, so she had to retract what she said. But I think she meant what she said. Right.
I think she got a call from her publicist saying, "You might want to clarify."
Clarify, because it was an emotional rant, right? I don't think. I think that's how she felt.
Anthony, PR stat? No, you agree with
I mean, you know what? I think I mean, considering the fact that, let's be honest here, 2023 was a year that I'm sure she'd love to forget, considering everything all the accusations that got made.
The accusations and such,
and she's trying, and it looked like if you followed her social media, it looked like days prior she had been teasing something new was coming, perhaps some new music. And, I'm assuming the comments got to her, and that's when the whole "I quit" thing came out. And I was just like, whoa, what's, you got to be careful.
But see, that's what makes me think, is it a PR stunt? Because it's like, okay, she's teasing new music, but then she makes a statement. So does she want people to be like, no, don't quit, which is what happened. Don't quit. We love you. Don't quit.
It could be that, but also I think what it is that, she's trying to get back up on the horse and ride. And she's got the people that want to just keep knocking you down, and they leave a lot of negative comments. So she's like, what the hell? She's probably saying, what the hell with y'all, if that's the way how you feel. I mean, that could be. I don't know, but of course, PR team probably called and said, hey, you might want to clear that up. That's not a good look for you.
Or record exec. Somebody made the call clearly.
But also to Robin's point about social media, here's one thing I've learned too on my personal life, because I used to air people out back in the day, and my mom would have to call me and be like, you need to take that down. So one thing I've learned is that people can't comment on what you don't post. So
that's true.
They can't comment on what they don't post.
That's true.
If I don't post something, you don't, then fine. It's like, and in a way, it's kind of like something Denzel Washington was said, what you need to know for, what you need to know what's going on in my life for. And so if you look at my social media, I don't post a whole lot on there either. I have a little routine of things I'll post, but I'm not posting my.
I mean, you used to do some math. You used to post like 8 times a day.
Yeah. That was during quarantine, though. I was missing my people.
I was like, dang, posting again? What now?
No. I
ate a piece of toast with jelly on it.
What's like I said earlier, of course, this weekend I'll be tweeting about WrestleMania and everything. But the only time I'm actively on social media, constantly posting, is if I'm watching like 90 Day Fiance, and that's about it.
Right. Okay, bro. Thoughts on it? What is?
I don't think it was a publicity stunt. You got to understand that, first of all, Lizzo is younger than us, and how the younger generation communicate is totally different from us.
Spot on.
There's only so many characters that you can put out there when you're posting. You only got so many words that you can say. And for her, it's like nowadays, it's like, well, people are mad with each other, before they actually talk to that person, their natural reaction is, well, let me just post my feelings. Let me, and I only got 25 characters. So what can I say? What can I say within these 25 or 50 characters? Right? If part of this, well, I quit, and it's just lashing out at that time because she is in this public eye, and anything she says and how she says it. First of all, it doesn't matter if she says, "I'm good." People are gonna take that and try to flip it how they want to flip it. Oh yeah, she thinks she did all that, right? So for her, I think it was a situation where, like I said, even once she clarified what she was saying, it's just the fact that there's only so much you can say in so many characters when you do an initial post, and like I said, once again, people always read the headlines and nobody ever reads the retractions.
That is very true.
So
yeah.
So her situation was, look, I'm just tired of, being done this way, being done that way. But there's only so much you can say in that
little, and but you hit on something, bro. This generation, I feel like the millennials and the Gen Z, very sensitive. Like, Gen X and the baby boomers, like, we went through some stuff. We got that tough skin, but the younger generation, they're a little soft. But
the communication was different. Our communication, if we had a problem with someone, we went to that person and talked to them.
Very true.
And then the rest of the world didn't get a crack at me to say you're blah, 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 blah. It's like it's the difference between me having a disagreement with 4 or 5 of my friends and then anybody who has access to the internet being able to tell me I'm terrible. You understand what I'm saying? So
I get that, Princess. I get that, but at the same time, I also feel like being a celebrity, right? That people are going to come for you. So at some point in time, you gotta build that thick skin. You can't let that stuff fade.
That's easy because here's the thing. Yeah, you're a celebrity, but you're still human first. And and a lot of times the general public don't see that. All they see is you're a celebrity, you got all this money, and so they feel like you don't have any problem, like you don't have any issues.
Yeah.
And they're not looking at you as, I'm a human being,
a person.
I've got feelings too. I don't want to be body shamed, and I don't want to be this, and it's like, and for her, she's, ever since she's came on the scene, she's always had to overcome certain things. And at the same time, for the most part, she's done it with grace. She's done it with, she's done it with a smile. But even the strongest person has their breaking point.
Yeah. I agree. I think for self-preservation, at some point, I mean, I've seen celebrities say, like, you know what, I just took a break from social media, or, you know what I mean, I stayed off social media for a while, or the press or whatever, for your own mental health, I think, right? And so that you don't get caught up in all the negativity. But every celebrity is different. There's some that actively tweet and do their social media and such, and then there's those that are like, yeah, I don't even want to know.
And but like Anthony was saying, if she was teasing new music, obviously she got something she's supposed to be promoting. It's like I said, it's the catch-22. It's like how I'm kind of back at social media now that Traveler's Guide is relaunched. I'm back on more than I want to be. You know what I mean? Because if you're not promoting it, people don't know about it. And so it's a vicious cycle,
And just like Anthony said, he was talking about how Denzel Washington handles her. Well, once again, Denzel is from a different generation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So our generation is, hey, look, what happens at home stays at home. Keep certain things in house, yada yada yada. This generation, they were born with a cell phone in their hand.
They don't keep nothing secret.
because
it's a free for all.
Well, because this is how they communicate. This is how it's like, even like now, this is how we're communicating to the world. Right now, but
you won't find my deepest, darkest secret, because I'm not gonna put it out there. Like,
Well, but I mean, but all we can do is wish her well, and hope that, because it's just like, especially like I said, like Biggie said, the more money, more problems.
Yes.
And as you get bigger, you have friends and family and whatever. It's like, and then all these people are coming out and asking for this and asking for that.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, none of them were there while you were sitting there trying to struggle and become who you are.
Right. Yeah. And probably poo-pooed, oh, yeah, okay, that little music thing you're doing or that little,
Then you'll never get signed. You don't look like this.
Right. Right. Yeah. All right. Well, we're almost at the end of our time. Thank you, everyone, for watching the comments. We do this every first Thursday of the month. We get together and we chit chat about all the latest and greatest in entertainment news. But there's always a lot going on. We know, sometimes you get busy, don't have time to keep up with it from day to day. So we collect it all and we talk about it once a month. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend. TGIF tomorrow. Thank you, Princess Robin. Catch her show again on what are the call letters again?
DFWIRadio.com.
I love the balloons. I want to get an iPhone just for that. Just for the
mine doesn't do all this. I'm still trying to do it.
Probably because you haven't updated the software yet.
Thank you, K-Cee Kurt K-Cee Clayton. Thank you, Anthony Adams. And as always, we'll see you again next month. Stay safe. Later.
K-Cee Soul Radio.